Please remove your caps. For those who are able, please stand for the entrance of the colors by the Parma Safety Forces Joint Honor Guard, followed by the placement of the memorial wreath. Honor Guard, by your command.
Detail, attention! Prepare colors! Forward, arm! Forward, march! Face. Prepare to post colors. March. Prepare to post. Ready? Post. Raise it. Out. Forward. Out. Right. Face. Forward. March. Prepare to lay the ceremonial wreath. March. Ceremonial rest.
You may be seated. I would like to thank Al Wallane Morris, Bridge in Pleasant Valley, for donating the wreath for this evening. Very generous donation. We appreciate it a great deal. At this time, I'd like to introduce Parma Fire Department Chaplain John Carlo from St. Charles Church.
Let us pray. Truly, you are a good and gracious God. This 9/11 day, we come before you with heavy hearts as we again commemorate those events of 2001. Although 18 years have passed, the memories are still clear and haunting. The smoking towers, the bravery of first responders, the tributes to the heroic fallen, and to the strengthening of our national purpose. We remember the thousands who were lost, and we continue to sorrow with those who love them. We are humbled, yet inspired, by all those who did their duty. We continue to grieve the loss of our national 18 years ago, as strangers carried each other out of smoking buildings and cared for one another in dire need, our national pride still rises within us. In our struggles today, we do not want to get caught in any morbid celebration. May there be no pride-filled remembrance of our loss. We should remember how the world responded, supporting us and declaring, "Today we are all Americans," they said. God of all people, teach us to be patriotic, but humbly so. Teach us the beauty and value of every human life. In light of this great national tragedy, may we not focus so much on the differences of the human community so that we divide and begin to hate. Remind us of the response of the American people, the way the true values of our nation were revealed in open doors, in open arms, and in open hearts. As we now cope with the troubles of 2019, wildfires, hurricanes, earthquakes, mass shootings, may we never forget our reaction on that first 9/11 day. For then we did not focus on nationality, or wealth, or education, or gender, or faith. 18 years ago, we focused on human need. May we learn to do so again. On this anniversary day, we lift up to you those who 18 years later still suffer from any painful loss. May our nation's healing continue. May we again learn and never forget that we are always called to help one another as we did that day. Call us back to that place in our hearts. Instill in us that sense of service and responsibility to be truly American people, characterized by help and care and concern. We make this prayer once again in this time and place, September 11, 2019, in Parma, Ohio. Amen.
Now our safety director, Tom Weinrich, and our mayor, Tim McKeer.
Thank you, Lieutenant Downey. I'm honored and humbled to be part of this program here this evening on September 11th. And I'd like to thank for joining us, three of our council members, Councilman Al Divis, Councilman Mark Castleberry, and Councilman Roy Jack. Often associated with the date September 11th, 2001, is the phrase, "We will never forget." We will never forget. As I remember where I was on that infamous morning, it occurs to me that with the passing of 18 years, there's a growing number among us that were young children on that date without a clear or vivid memory of the tragic events and the lives lost. In fact, a number of the men and women of the Parma Police and Parma Fire Department were in grade school on the day that the towers fell, the Pentagon was hit, and Flight 93 crashed in Shanksville. Before too long, the first responders that we hired to serve our community will likely all have been born after September 11, 2001. The passage of time makes it increasingly important that we gather as a community to share our collective memories as we do here tonight. I commend all of those responsible for this fitting memorial event. On this day, it's also important that we honor the service and commitment of our present-day first responders. In the very same way that first responders on September 11, 2001 said goodbye to their families, left their homes, and reported for duty, not knowing what lay ahead, Each day, the men and women of the Parma Police and Fire Departments say goodbye to their families, leave their homes, and report for duty, ready to respond to the call, ready to put themselves in harm's way to protect and serve the people of Parma. Today, we acknowledge their commitment, thank them for their service, and pray for their safe return home after each shift.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to Parma City Hall. Welcome the veterans, our safety forces. I also want to thank Councilman Divis, Castleberry, and Jack for coming to this, and everybody else. I appreciate you taking time out to attend this evening ceremony. At 8:46 a.m. on September 11, 2001, American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the World Trade Center's North Tower, killing hundreds of people. 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 collided into the South Tower. Both towers were now ablaze. At 9:37 a.m., a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, struck the Pentagon. A fourth plane, United Flight 93, crashed into a remote field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03. There were no survivors. Unexpectedly, both World Trade Center's towers collapsed, disappearing into a cloud of dust, transforming into a massive pile of steel and concrete. In less than 2 hours, 2,977 people died. Of those deaths, more than 400 were emergency workers. Those firefighters and police officers raced towards danger without hesitation or fear. They did not return to their stations that day. Instead, they died with honor as they bravely faced a daunting challenge no first responder had ever faced before. Parma's own 9/11 Memorial at the Shops at Parma, and if you haven't been there before, I encourage you to spend some time there, recognizes the heroism of first responders. Features an I-beam that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey donated to our city. The beam weighs more than 1,600 pounds and was recovered from ground zero. The 2 square flower beds represents the Twin Towers. The benches around it represents buildings 3, 4, 5, and 6, which were also destroyed. Despite the large size of the beam that's there, it is small in comparison to the mountain of rubble that rescue and recovery workers come through the following days, weeks, and months. Because of the work done at Ground Zero, the death toll continues to climb. The Centers of Disease Control reports that thousands of 9/11 survivors and first responders who were exposed to toxic matter suffered from health problems. This past July, the 200 New York City firefighter died from ailments stemming from the work he performed at Ground Zero. America's safety forces consist of brave individuals who put their lives on the line for their fellow citizens every single day. Our police and firefighters risk their lives every single day. On this date, the pain is renewed every year for families who lost loved ones and for survivors who lost co-workers. But they do not stand alone. We grieve with them because it is our duty as Americans to never forget those who died on September 11, 2001, and to honor those who risked their lives to save ours. Thank you for coming tonight, and God bless Parma.
Please welcome Chief of the Parma Fire Department, Mike Lasky.
Daily, firefighters and police officers throughout our city and across the nation have their safety in hands, and they put it in divine power in hopes that they will be able to serve and protect their community and return to home at the end of their shift. As we know, this is not always the case. On September 11, 2001, the men and women of the New York City Fire and Police Departments and the Pentagon reported for duty, unaware that airplanes from Boston and Washington, D.C. were headed to their cities to commit an unspeakable act that would forever change our nation as we know it. Today, we gather to honor those 18 years ago began their day not knowing they would ever return home, never get the opportunity to hug a loved one, and never see the light of day again. We honor those police and firefighters that placed their lives on the line in service to others. We stand in remembrance as a collective reminder that the sacrifice will not be forgotten. We owe a debt of gratitude, one which we can never forget, and one that will live on forever as long as we do not let this sacrifice be forgotten. Tonight, we take the time to acknowledge and service the bravery of our community's first responders, present, past, and the future. Recognizing the critical role first responders play in keeping our community safe every day. Together, we, the Parma Fire and Police Department, are committed to the safety of our community and our residents. Always remember, it doesn't take a tragedy to do an act of kindness. Simple things as saying thank you, good morning, how are you, can I help you? Always reaching out to our neighbors. On behalf of the Parma Police and Fire Department, the officers, we'd like to thank you for coming tonight and help us remember not what we are here for from our past, but what we are here for in the present and our future, and that's helping our residents and each other. I'd also like to say, though, that Lieutenant Downey, on behalf of the Parma Fire Department, we'd like everybody for coming, but I have to say, I appreciate the work that Lieutenant Downey as well as Lieutenant Rodriguez did for this. Every year, it gets bigger and bigger, and Brian serves as our safety officer on the Parma Fire Department. And tonight, I have to say, he put everybody else ahead of himself. You saw how great this event was that he planned by having Normandy and the change of venue that had to take place. It was hard for him to make that call to me at 6:30 and saying, Chief, I think we should move this in due to the fact that it is possibly going to rain. And it did rain, Brian. I know you said it's sunshine, but it did rain. On that respect, I would like to thank them. The Honor Guard, both police and fire, they do a tremendous job. If you ever see them in anything that they perform, as the chief of the fire department, that is one of the greatest things that I watch. The commitment that team has and the amount of hours that they volunteer to put this program together is tremendous. I know yesterday they worked with each other putting this together. People do not forget the Parma Fire Department or Police Department. There isn't a day that doesn't go by that somebody doesn't thank us. They drop off cookies. We get cards from kids. We have people come up to say, thank you for doing what you do for the Parma Fire Department. The Jacobin Post is putting a presentation together, a remembrance dinner for us in October. Every single year, Commander Kessler, for the past 4 years, has recognized first responders. So people do not forget the things that we have done. I know it takes sometimes a tragedy, and people say, this is the time that we have to remember our first responders, but our community does excellent job recognizing the safety forces. We have levies that get passed all the time. You see other cities that have that problem. We don't have that in the city of Providence, the city of Parma, and that's because of the residents and the people that are here. So being the chief of the department, it's easy when I have a department like this because they do all the work and it makes us look good. So on behalf of Parma Fire, as the chief of the department, I thank you all for coming, and Lieutenant Downey and Rodriguez for putting this together today. Thank you.
Every year I try to tell one of the many of literally tens of thousands of stories from September 11th that embody self-sacrifice and service. Tonight I'd like to tell you about Michael Judge. Michael Judge was appointed to the FDNY in 1992. He was well known as someone who relished his mission to serve the community and who cared deeply for the men and women in uniform with whom he served. On September 11th, Michael Judge was performing his duties in the lobby of the North Tower, where a command post had been established. Debris from the collapsing South Tower crashed into the grass roof of the lobby, and it resulted in many casualties. Michael Judge was one of them. Although mortally wounded, several firefighters and police officers carried Michael out of the building, and a photographer captured that graphic and powerful moment of Michael's lifeless body almost slipping out of his fire coat, not as they sought medical help, as they sought a church to have last rites administered. He was ultimately placed in front of the altar at St. Peter's. The men who carried him there knelt for a moment in prayer and returned to the North Tower. Although a member of the FDNY, Michael Judge was not a firefighter, he was not a company officer, nor was he a chief officer. His title was Father Michael Judge, or Father Mike to the members of the fire department, chaplain of the New York City Fire Department. As chaplain, he was not expected or required to be anywhere in a position of danger. But that's exactly where Father Judge was. On the front lines, offering comfort, prayers, and in some cases, last rites for his men. Less than 24 hours before his death, he was speaking at a firehouse rededication in the Bronx when he spoke these words that seem almost prophetic. Good days, bad days, but never a boring day on this job. You do what God has called you to. You show up, you put one foot in front of the other, and you do your job, which is always a mystery and a surprise. You have no idea when you get in that rig